So, gremlins, I need a lamp in my bedroom. Specifically, a lamp I can turn on and off from my bed so I don't need to get out of bed to turn the big light off at night. So I acquired a lamp. Actually, I acquired two of them. And also some lampshades that are very much not my style, but do involve the inner wires that I can use to make lamps that are my style. What is my style, you ask? Mushrooms, of course. So today's goal is to attempt to turn two lampshades into mushroom-shaped lampshades, and then put them on my lamps and figure out a space for both these lamps to go to be functional in my space. Also, as a bonus, I will also be updating my desk lamp to be a little bit more whimsical as well.
The first step to this project was to rip apart the lampshades I bought secondhand to get access to the wire circles, the only bit of these shades I need. This was very fun and satisfying to do, but also made a huge mess I had to clean up off camera. When I had rescued the wire rings from their fabric prisons, I started cutting out my own spool of wire and twisting it onto the rings to make a mushroom cap-shaped frame on each. Also, through this whole process, I do not know what I'm doing, and I'm just trying things and hoping they work, which for the most part they do. The mushroom frames are a little wonky, but so are most mushrooms in nature, so that's fitting. Each length of wire is twisted around the base of the ring on one side, then looped over to the other side, leaving enough length to make a bell-shaped cap. When I already had a few wires on the mushroom, I'd twist new ones around the center one as well to keep everything in place. Each lamp ended up with 4 wires making 8 points of contact on the ring, which hopefully will be enough to provide structure. With the base wire frame complete, I grabbed some white fabric from my stash and began covering the lampshades in fabric. My plan is to use plain white fabric as a base and then paint over it where mushrooms need color, and I'm just draping the fabric, pinning it in place around the wire ring, and then sewing it around the wire to secure it before trimming off all the excess. The wires are a little too visible through the fabric for my tastes, with the fabric draping down between each wire, so I tried stuffing the inside of the lamp full of scrap fabric to push it all out, and once the fabric was sewn in place, I painted the whole thing with PVA glue to try and stiffen it, so it wouldn't be so concave between the underlying structure. It only sort of worked, but once there's paint and everything else involved, the wires are a lot less obvious than they are now. Using PVA glue also allowed me to glue the folds of the fabric down, folds that are unavoidable when putting a rectangular plane of fabric over a curved surface. With one lamp coated in glue and drying, I repeated the same steps on the second shade, going a little quicker this time as I knew what to do and this lamp is a little smaller. And while I do exactly what I just explained on the last lamp, enjoy some music so I don't have to just say every step again to fill space. When the glue dried, I began pulling out all the stuffing to see if my attempt at making the fabric hold its shape worked. It was a good thing I'd wrapped my stuffing in a plastic garbage bag just in case, because the glue had soaked through the fabric enough to stick the plastic to the inside of the lamps, and while I was able to pull most of it out, there are definitely still patches of plastic bag inside my finished lampshades. Also, the glue stiffening only semi-worked, but I moved on to the next step anyway, after quickly putting the lampshades over my desk lamp to see how they looked with the light from the inside. With the stuffing removed, I used a little bit more PVA glue to glue the inner edge fabric down to hopefully prevent fraying, as well as make everything on the inside more neat. And then we come to a break, because I finally acquired light bulbs and need to show them off. The next section is recorded on my webcam, since I bought slightly fancy light bulbs that can be controlled by my phone, but this does mean I need my phone in hand, not as a filming device, to show them off. I did talk to the webcam directly, but the audio is terrible, so I'm just recording over myself to explain these lights a little. On recommendation from the Raven Cat Gremlin, who knows way more about electrical stuff than I do, I bought 2 light bulbs that both have the ability to change brightness and color temperature when controlled by my phone. To be extra fancy, one can also change color. Having light temperature controls will be very useful, because having cool lights is good for art and for filming, but having warm lights is much more cozy for having dim light in the evenings. The color changing is a little less necessary, but it will be fun to play with, so I think the extra cost of that bulb will be worth it for the dopamine. As well as being able to change the color/temperature, I can also change the brightness, able to have these at full brightness when I'm doing art or other things that require a lot of light, and turning them all the way down when I'm getting ready for bed and just need enough light to not trip over things in my bedroom. For the color light, I can either set it to one color, obviously for me that will be green, or set it to change between colors, either as flashes of color or as a slowly shifting rainbow. Party mode. Finally, I can also set timers and countdowns, so I can program the lights to turn on when my morning alarm goes off, or set them to go off after 30 minutes when I'm falling asleep. And I can just turn the lights on and off from my phone, as well as from the switches on the lampstands. Back to better camera quality, while I continue to wait for my lampshade glue to dry. I'm getting started on whimsifying my desk light as well. I originally wanted this light to be a mushroom as well, but the shape of the lamp that I found in a thrift store doesn't lend itself to that. However, it lends itself perfectly to a slightly drooping flower. So I grabbed some white felt and green fleece and began to cut out flower petals and leaf shapes, temporarily taping them to the lamp head to see how they'd all fit and be positioned. And we returned to the main project, the lampshades. After leaving them for several days due to busyness, it's time to paint them. I started with the larger of the two, which is designed to be a Flyer Garrick/toadstool style cap, although not quite the right shape for that. This is the lampshade for the lamp that changes colours and will be slotted into a space right behind the head of my bed for illuminating my room at night or in the mornings before I get out of my nest. I'm leaving the toadstool spots as white fabric and painting red mixed with fabric medium around those spots. I'm freehanding the whole thing, doing my best to make sure the spots are evenly spaced and different sizes and natural shapes. I also definitely got paint on my sleeves, but most of my clothing has paint on it already, either accidentally or on purpose, so I don't mind, it comes with the territory. Handily, the lamp stands make a great place to place the finished lampshades to dry, so it isn't touching any surface with wet paint or taking up space on my desk. While the toadstool dried, I turned to the smaller mushroom cap, which will be painted white and light brown, like a more generic mushroom. I used my brushes to make the paint streaky, darker at the top of the mushroom and lighter near the base of the cap, with a lot of visible texture and mottling. And here's where I get paint on my skirt, the patchwork skirt I sewed not that long ago. Oops. Well, if it bothers me too much, I can always sew another patch on top of the paint smears. I have plenty of fabric left over. I left this cap to dry on the other lamp stand and turned back to my desk lamp to finish it as well. First, I untaped all the elements and laid them out on my desk. Then I grabbed my trusty PVA glue again and began gluing the petals directly onto the lamp. If this ruins the lamp, it was $10 secondhand, so it's okay. And so far, the glue has held and the lamp still works. With the petals attached, I attached the first layer of leaves next, using those to cover up the back of the lamp head. Finally, I added a second layer of leaves, cut out of what I'm pretty sure is green fusible interfacing I inherited and don't know what to do with. This covers the edges of the fabric of the other leaves and helps hold everything together. I wrapped all these elements in a rubber band while the glue set, and with that, all I had to do was wait for everything to dry.
The lamps are done and in place, and I'm so happy with them and the whimsy they add to my room. The toadstool lamp is going to live pretty much its whole life behind my bed, where it can be very helpfully turned on and off from my bed, so I don't need to get up and turn the lights off when I'm ready for there to be darkness at night. This lamp is going to be a bit more mobile, where it can sometimes live in my bedroom and sometimes live by the desk where I do most of my art, depending on where I need extra light. And not visible in frame right now, but the desk lamp will generally also be fairly mobile between my two desks. Anyway, I'm really happy with this project. It's very homemade looking, but I think that just fits my vibe. And having mushroom lamps is just so much fun. It brings me so much joy just seeing them, especially when they're glowing with light. It's very cool. So, I'm very happy with this project, and I'm very happy with my new lanterns. Until next time, bye!